So chapter 20 is entitled Save Shoya, which makes it pretty obvious what we're doing in this chapter. Actually, no it doesn't. We're not here to save Shoya at all. In fact, he's not even on the map until a couple turns in. So what we're actually doing here is, now that Heidel is part of our team, we're privy to all the insider information that he's got, being a general. So we know where the Black Storm's headquarters are, we know where to find Dr. Godot and all that stuff. So I don't remember if we're like approaching their headquarters in this chapter or if we're there and we're starting to fight through it, but that's what we're going to be doing. So in the preparations menu here, we grab a booster 2 from Raphael, and we're going to give it to Heidel. We also switched out all of Akane's equipment, so she's no longer going to be used to fight anything ever again. In fact, she's going to be deployed on turn 1, I think every single chapter from now on, and she's just going to help Sakuma get ahead, because once again, this is the start of the end game, where every chapter is going to be an escape chapter except for the final chapter. So this is kind of a weird looking map. So as you can see, there's a whole bunch of mountains which you can't fly over, and most of the actual terrain is just like plain old dirt, or I guess it's now called slag, and it's just these narrow valleys. And there's also 2 rivers of lava that just run top to bottom. So the escape zone in this chapter is just 2 squares in the top right, and that's what we need to get to. And how we would normally get there is by just going straight down the middle, where that Ladybug is, where the Butterfly is, where Jagard is, and where Shoya will eventually be. Though, as I mentioned, he's not on the map right now. But that's too many enemies for us. So we're going to go right, and then we're going to have Akane and Ganbei just fly down that river of lava, and then Spider Thread Sakuma into the victory zone, which is much, much easier. And so first, all we're doing is just having Tsubasa Genie and Heidel chain grass hopping cards to toss Sakuma over top of this Lana Beetle. And like I said, I've basically already said everything that needs to be said about this chapter. It's all pretty straightforward. And I'll reiterate once more, just for clarity, why it's so great that we can just escape in these last chapters, because we really can't fight anything here. Jagard would fucking just destroy us, and it would take a long time for us to beat through anything, so thankfully we can just run away. So we have Heidel now, and if you recall, the Cockroach has the single most movement of any unit in the game with 7, and if I'm being honest, he comes too late in the game to be really, really useful, but with so much movement, it's hard not to get a lot of use out of Heidel. Even though we don't really need him, there's a lot of points where he just comes in super handy just because he can move so far. But in this chapter, all he does is he does that one thing and then he's done. Like most of the team, honestly. So in this chapter, Shoya shows up, and unlike last chapter where he was trying to escape the Black Storm, now he's all gung-ho about killing his friends and stuff, and we're like, whoa, what's up with that? And it's pretty obvious by his dead-looking eyes that he's been mind-controlled like Misaki has. So when we capture him at the end of this chapter, we're actually going to use the Origin to break his mind control, which is how we're going to eventually break Misaki's mind control. You'll recall that she's Sakuma's friend or whatever, so she joins our team pretty easy. And the only other thing notable about this chapter is that there is a capsule in the far, far left, and that capsule has the Scorpion Rush card. And if you recall, I think it was back in chapter 15, where I was talking about that's the card that she used to start making Beetle Rushes, which might be useful to completely break the game in half using 2-player mode. So obviously we don't get it. It's just so far out of the way, and even if we did get it, I don't think we could fit it in anywhere, but that's where it is.